Yay!
We're back. How is
Why do I
everybody?
always do this? Why do I?
Oh, 'cause-
Hey! Jazz hands. I don't know why I
Oh
do
my
that.
gosh. So welcome back to another episode of Salty Sisters. We have some really cool stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk a little bit about breast cancer awareness. We're going to talk a little bit about Yvonne and I had a trip to New York City. What else are we talking about, Yvonne?
Oh my gosh, we have a lot on the docket. And mostly, I think we decided that the big theme that ties it all together is doing new things when you don't have all the answers. Um, I don't know about, I can't speak for everybody, but I suspect that I am not alone in that it has become more challenging as I've gotten older to push myself to do new uncomfortable things, even though I know, and especially I know because the more I do it, I get evidence that all the good stuff is on the other side of doing those new things and
Yes.
putting myself in that uncomfortable position. And still it is like, come on, girl.
I think it depends on what it is, Yvonne. It a lot of people be like, nope, I can never do that. They don't even take a moment to say, huh. Like I know I don't want to go bungee jumping. That's a flat no. That's a hard
Right.
pass. I
No.
know that.
Mm-mm.
But I always know when I'll say, hey, what about this? And they give you like so many excuses. Oh, but I don't have this and I can't go this and I'm busy and I did. Okay, that's a no. You just went around it the long way. But what if you did something and it turned out great?
That's what I've started doing lately, and I think it was Laura, our friend Laura, who she was talking about this, and she said she was asking herself the question about some stuff that was kind of giving her agita, some life change stuff, and she started asking herself the question, what if it's great? And I was like, wow, that is a transformative question.
Yes.
It really is. And I've been using it a lot since that conversation to to like open up possibility
Mhm.
around things that I might otherwise go, eh,
Yeah.
you know. I just want to say this, as we get older, I think the bonus of getting older is being able to draw boundaries and say no as a complete sentence and all that stuff. But I'd say draw those boundaries around the things that other people are asking you to do that don't feel right, but maybe open up more possibility to the little voice inside you that's calling you on to the next thing. And maybe don't shut it down quite so fast
Well, I
and
think we
let
draw the
yourself be
boundaries,
curious.
but we we leave out everything. You're like, okay, here are my boundaries. I'm staying in my circle. Nobody comes in the circle, nobody goes out the circle. And
Right.
sometimes you have to do something that's a little exciting, maybe a little scary.
Well, okay,
Starting a
so
business is one, that's scary.
yeah.
But, traveling to a different country that you've never been to, that's exciting, that's scary, but a lot of people talk themselves out of it.
Yep. Or simple things, doing like like okay, here's something I'm stopping myself from doing, mostly because of time, but I I actually every time I pick up like watercolors, like I have this funky little book it's for children, and it
Mhm.
takes you through really easy exercises, and there's this woman I follow on Instagram, and she teaches you how to do really cool little watercolor projects. They're so approachable. I am not an art, but I always tell myself I'm not an artist. I am purely in stick figure drawing mode, you know?
Absolutely.
And so, like, doing art is something that I might keep myself from
Mhm.
doing because I have a little voice in my head that says I'm not good at that. Or dancing,
Mhm.
dancing, like choreographed type dancing. I would love to be able to dance, but I've, had enough traumatic experiences go my previous life as an actor having to go to dance classes
Oh
and
my gosh.
auditions and things like
Yes.
that, and having to dance and pick up choreography, and that so it's like so those things I formed opinions about what I was capable of a whole long
Mhm.
time ago, and those are still in there running around, and keeping me from
Mhm.
doing it. Um,
I think
so
if
it's
it's a
interesting.
movement type, like if it's something that requires me to move, I'm sure I can do some semblance of it as opposed to something that I have to read and then write notes on it or something. I'll be like, no, I'm not doing that. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
So, do you want to talk about our trip to New York?
Yes. Yes, I do. Okay, so Kat and I had the opportunity to meet up in New York City recently. Kat lives in North Carolina. I live in Connecticut. There was a menopause festival happening, which cracks me up. I love saying those two words back to back. Menopause
And festival
festival. But it was
celebration.
exactly. It was called the Life in the Pause Festival. And it turned out to be very festival like. It was fun.
It was fun.
But we were invited to go from somebody else who was going, and I don't think it's something that I would have gone to without that
Knowing
extra.
someone.
Yeah, without
Yes.
knowing somebody.
Yeah.
And, should we show the clip of trying to find the place?
Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
You want me to
We
hit the
got
go
lost in
button?
New York, y'all.
Alright, this is Lost in New York. So, this is me and Kat trying to find our way to the building. We are in New York trying to find this place. We're so lost.
We've walked almost a mile, but we're gonna find it. We are.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's go. Let's see. We are trying to find our way to Hudson Yards, and the address is so weird.
Yes,
But here we go. We've been seeing cool things though, haven't
I
we?
know. We've seen a lot of cool things. That Yvonne's gonna be posting, by the way.
Yes. If you're seeing this, I posted.
I love that. But it helps
Uh,
when you have someone. So Yvonne is I don't know. Are you a native New Yorker or you're a familiar New Yorker?
I am a familiar New Yorker. I
Okay.
am certainly not native. I grew up in West Texas, but
Okay.
and dreamed of moving to New York
Yeah.
most of my childhood, and then did in my 20s. So
Mhm.
I lived there for close to a decade. And so I'm familiar with New York, but it
Yeah,
was kind of a weird location, and we did eventually find our way.
we did.
But it was a weird building, right? Like when we did actually find the building, I was like, well, no wonder we didn't notice this. And then there was
Notice
a
it.
guy
Yeah.
sitting out front, and he's like, Life in the Pause
I
Festival.
know. We're like,
Like,
huh? Wait, what?
yeah. And then we went upstairs, and we had to go up a freight elevator. And then we got up there, and it was this beautiful
Mhm.
loft space, lots of
Yes.
light. There was a DJ. There were amazing. Oh my gosh, the
Speakers.
energy.
Yeah, the energy was great.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
energy was
But I
amazing.
have to say, okay, so let's backtrack.
Yeah.
So our mastermind group found out that Yvonne and well, they didn't find out. We told them. And they said, it'd be a really good idea. So I don't know if you guys know, me and Yvonne skate. They said, why don't you and Yvonne get some pictures together skating? And I'm like, no, 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 no. And so I was officially bullied. I'm just gonna say.
Well,
Um,
okay, let me back up because I was there for this bullying. It's true, you were pushed, but you never said no.
I didn't say
You
no.
that no conversation was going on in your brain, but you never said no.
I was just, I don't know. So anyway, I was like, okay, fine. So I packed all my stuff. Here's the
Uh-huh.
thing. My husband heard me talk about it. He goes, "You're not going to skating in New York City, are you? Do you know what could happen? You could fall, you could do it." And he just went through this myriad of reasons why I shouldn't skate in New York City. So I had to pack all my stuff and not tell him. Okay. So I packed all my stuff. We go to the conference and I'm thinking, okay, maybe Yvonne forgot about it, right? She goes, "So let's talk about skating." I was like, oh man. So
You
we just,
know, Pat, I had to pack my skates too and get on I know I didn't get on a plane with them. You managed to get them all into carry-on luggage
I
with a
did.
helmet.
I
I don't
don't
know
know
how
how I
you
did that.
I don't know, next level.
Military, anyone military, we know how to pack. I'm just
Right.
saying.
But I
But it
did pack
was,
them, so I was like,
yeah,
"All right, we gotta figure this out."
and we did.
We did. Well, so
And
here's the thing, we didn't know where
uh,
to skate because when I started doing the research on it, I started to kinda go, "Well, I don't know." I was like with Peter, I was like, "I don't know if there's a good place for us to actually skate in New York City, like, that we could get to logistically, time-wise." And, there are places, but they were all, like, far,
yeah,
and
we had to travel to it.
yeah, we had to figure some stuff
Mhm.
out. But it turned out that there was a spot, like, they closed off the street right in front of Macy's in Herald Square,
Mhm.
and we were staying close to that. We were, like, a block away, right, Kat?
Mhm. Yes.
And we were like, "Well, okay, let's get up." So we didn't know if we were gonna go during the day at the Life in the Pause Festival, which ended up being too great to leave, right?
Right.
So we stayed for the whole thing because that was too awesome. And then I'll let you continue the story from there. I totally interrupted you.
No, it's okay. So we had to change hotels. So we're schlepping through New York, New York City with all our stuff. And Yvonne goes, "This will be a really cool place to skate." So we decided to get up early on Sunday and we went to breakfast and we found a spot. And from all the trepidation, all the, oh, I don't want to, it was the best part of the trip. Now,
Okay.
don't get me
We have that.
wrong.
Oh,
I just want to say that the Life in the Pause was amazing, but I don't know if you guys have heard me say that being on my skates, then afterwards, all I feel is pure joy, pure bliss. And I had my good friend Yvonne there with me, and it was just amazing. And I'm like, what was I so scared about? What was I so about? But I did it, and we have proof.
we do have proof.
Yes.
Okay, so we have 2 clips to play. They're very short. One of them is us leaving our hotel room to go skating. That's this one now.
We're going skating.
In New York City.
Oh my god, that was us nervous beforehand.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and this is us. We did it. Here we go. And we're gonna stop.
Oh my God.
I love
We
your
had
laugh.
so much fun. Oh my gosh. So, why are we saying this? Sometimes we get to a certain point in our life and I don't want to do anything but be home. And I
Right?
get that. I get that. I do. I get that.
Totally.
But isn't there sometimes when you just go, wow, it'd be kind of cool if, and there's a blank. It'd be cool if, now you don't have to do this thing, but maybe you could look up some stuff about it. See, I go down a rabbit hole with stuff. And so when something really, really is exciting to me, I'm like, let me look up this. Let me look up this. how much does it cost? At one point I thought about skating lessons. I don't know, what does it cost for skating lessons? But I just went ahead and bought the skates and did the thing. And I brought the skates with me to New York. So what we're trying to say is, don't poo-poo something because you think that, oh, I'm to this, I'm to that, I'm to whatever. No, you're not. Because there are lots of people, men and women, but I think we're specifically talking about women, who were doing amazing things in their 60s, 70s, 80s. And I'm talking about climbing mountains, which I don't want to do. That's a hard pass too. But what
And
I'm
skating
saying
is
is,
going to be a hard pass for a lot of people. Like if you're watching this and going, well,
Mhm.
well, bully for you, good for you. I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. Awesome. That's a hard pass. That's a no for you. But it could, what else? What is calling you? What do you want to
Mhm.
do? And hi, Laura Joe.
Hi, Laura
Hi,
Joe.
Laura Joe. If you have any questions, let us know. It's awesome to have you here. We
Mhm.
are talking about like doing new things and stepping into things even when we don't have all the answers, Laura
Mhm.
Joe. Um, so yeah, we found our
Mhm.
way to the conference. We didn't know what the conference was going to be like. It turned out to be amazing.
Mhm.
We met awesome people. The energy was great. The
Yes.
information was
Was
great,
great. Yes.
you know? And here's a good time to point out that this past Wednesday, October 9th, was Ageism Awareness Day.
Mhm.
And it was started in Australia. It's a movement that started in Australia and is now blossoming throughout the world. And here's the thing, who cares? Why do we care about ageism?
Mhm.
Why be aware of ageism? Because we're so surrounded by ageist stereotypes in the media, in television, advertising, fashion ads, all kinds of stuff, fashion magazines, the conversations with family, friends. If
Mhm.
you really start to listen, you will hear so many stereotypes about aging. And that what ends up happening is we have all these ageist ideas. And then when we get older, we start to apply all those stereotypes to ourselves.
Mhm.
And then those things start to affect our health and our wealth and our choices. And so you might keep yourself from doing something purely because of your age
Mhm.
when there are lots of other factors that could go into your decision making.
Mhm.
Like, I make the choice to go skating and take that chance because right now I'm in pretty good shape. I want to do it. It brings
Mhm.
me joy. Yes, there's risk involved, but I wear pads. I wear a helmet. I try to mitigate the risks so that I can go play and have fun. I could trip and fall walking
Mhm.
down the street,
Absolutely.
you know?
But I think it also comes from, you have this idea and you might tell friends, you might tell family, and they're like, oh, you don't want to do that. What if you fall? What if you break a hip? What if you did,
Yep.
what if? And, but I'm going to push back and say, what if you didn't? What if you had fun? What if you decided to do it all the time?
Yeah.
What if you became a teacher of whatever that thing is? You see where we're going with this?
Yeah. And not that you
And
have
to
to put
limit
that kind of
ourselves.
pressure on it either. Like, you
Yeah.
don't have to put, like, what I was talking earlier about like art and dancing and those things. I don't I can do those things for the pure joy and exploration of it and not put any kind of expectation on it about anybody who's going to see it, care
Mhm.
about it. D- but are you doing it for you to grow and get curious about yourself and have fun?
But that's what's great about being this age is like, I don't care who sees me. Even in New York, and I'm kind of a little wobbly, and they're like, people are like, "Oh, you can do it." It's like, "Yes, I can." It's that gut feeling, that gut, "Oh, I want to do that." You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? It's not this full thought out thing. It's, I just want to do that. And then go do it. I mean, I think we started our skating thing by a conversation. I think Yvonne said, "Oh, I spent like 2 years in skates." I was like, "So did I." And we're like, "Let's go get skates." And we got skates
Yeah.
and we
It was
did
like a
it.
couple of years ago when I started to
Yeah.
realize how much I was missing it, and it kinda kept coming up. That's, I think, an
Yeah.
indicator
When it keeps bubbling up.
when it keeps bubbling up. Yeah, when it's like the idea won't let go. That's what happened to me with the podcast too, Kat.
Mhm.
The idea for the podcast was with me for 2 years, and I kept poo-pooing it and pushing it aside because I didn't
Mhm.
have all the answers. I didn't know
Yeah.
how to do anything, and once decided to do it, the answers started to come because I started doing research. I started
Mhm.
figuring it out because I had made a decision to figure
Yes.
it out.
Because I think once you make that decision, it's out in the universe, and the universe starts to pull that stuff to you.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds woo-woo. I know it does, but it's so true.
It has been
I
my life experience every single time I've
Yeah,
ever done something
yeah.
and haven't known what I was doing. Yeah, there's been failure involved for sure.
Failing forward.
Yes, but if I look at failure as a lesson learned and okay, I figured out that that way doesn't work, but I
Mhm.
don't let it stop me, then I mean, it's really kind of magical how things
Yeah,
do work out.
yeah.
I can't explain it.
Can I tell you something that's really silly that I have been just holding on to? So, I don't know about y'all, but I go what I call window shopping online and Amazon, and I put stuff in my basket. I have been wanting to color. I want to get a coloring book and pencils, but I was stuck on the type of pencils. Oh, does this pencil do this? Does this pencil? How many pencils? How many colors do I need? I was like, I want 72 colors. I want the whole thing. And finally, I just said, just pick some colors, pick a box of whatever, get a coloring book and just get the stuff. And then do, up level later if you want to. But see, do you see how silly that is? It sounds, but that's what I was stuck on. And I was like, this is really stupid. I had it in my cart for months, months. And
I
I
get
said,
you.
I'm like, just do it. Click. So I did.
That's awesome. Is it on its way to you or did you already get it?
It's on my way to me.
That's so cool.
I know. It's so silly. It's just like, I'm so excited. I'm like a little kid, who will get my coloring book? Because I remember coloring, and coloring's very, I don't know what you want to call it. You're like in your own world, you know? And I was that kid that loved all of what is it? Was it 64 colors of
Oh,
Crayola?
the big box,
The
right?
big box, yes, with all
Yeah.
the colors and the crayons. I used to love the smell of Crayola crayons, you
Oh,
know?
nothing
So,
will take you back to childhood like
like
Play-Doh
yeah,
and
Play-Doh and
crayons, right?
crayons, yes. Play-Doh, I would sit there and just go, "Oh, I love this smell." I would just, oh, I love it. Anyway, Um, Laura Joe said, I used to color all the time. My favorite is gel pens, but now I have pencils, crayons, markers, and lots of books. Oh, I need to pick your brain, Laura Joe.
Yeah. I was at one of our local libraries and I found this book that I ended up giving to my sister-in-law for her 60th birthday. And I kind of wanted to keep it for myself because it was like this activity book. You open it up and it's got stuff to color, draw, like with kind of like guidance,
Yeah.
and I got her I got very stuck shopping for her because then I was like, "Oh, I need to get her like things to use in the book
Yeah.
now." And I got stuck on the colored
Yep.
pencils, how many colors, which
Yeah.
ones,
Is it
the
pens? Is it crayons? Is it pencils? What's
the
better?
watercolors, gel
Yes.
pens, what do I
Yes.
do? What do
I
I do?
know.
But it was kind of an exciting like, just shopping for it for her was a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
Yeah.
I might have to go back and get that book for
Yeah.
myself.
But see, what we're talking about is something really simple. and we tend to make it hard, and it doesn't have to be. Just do it without knowing all the answers. You'll get the answers. You'll decide once I get that coloring book, oh, should I have gotten pencils? Maybe I shouldn't gotten of gel pens. Maybe I should have gotten, but I'm going to use them and then up level from there. So whatever it is you're thinking about doing, whatever thing that keeps bubbling up, you keep pulling it up and you keep pushing it down, and it bubbles up and you push it down. Listen to it. Start to say, wow, what if dot, 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 dot.
What if it's great?
What if it's great?
What if
Dot,
it's
dot, dot,
great?
dot.
Dot, dot, dot. So seriously, ask yourself that question when you're thinking about whether or not you are going to do something, want to do something. Ooh, Laura Jo says, yes, why do we make it hard? Make things right or wrong instead of experimenting and exploring. Man, when I can approach stuff with an experimental attitude, an experimental approach, that is such a game changer for me. It's why I'm so obsessed with play now. With the idea of play is because play is a mindset. And and did you know, Kat, that the opposite of play isn't work? It's depression,
Ew. No,
right?
I don't like that.
Right. But I think that most people see work as the actual opposite of play, but if play is a mindset, then we could turn anything into play
Mhm.
if we can tweak our mindset to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's one of the reasons that I feel like we just need to play more or be more playful in our approach, which means curious,
Mhm.
experimental,
Yes.
open, asking that
Mhm.
magic what if question.
But it's like doing R&D, research and development, right? It's not just for entrepreneurs, it's for life too.
Ooh, I
You know what
like
I mean?
that.
How many
Yeah.
times have you gone shopping? Let me say this story. I go very rarely to the mall, but when I do, and I find something, and I'm one of those people, I carry it around with me like it's already mine. Okay. And I'm walking around with it and I'm like, oh, no. And then I put it back. And you know what happens? I leave and it's the one thing I keep thinking about. I should have bought it. I should have bought it. And my husband goes, just go back and get it. I'm like, okay. And then I go back and get it. But it's that research and development. What if I did this? Here's another example. If you've heard of Threads, that's part of, I think, Instagram now.
Yeah.
And for months, I was like, what's it like? I kept asking people, are you on it? Are you? And I said, let me just go on there and see what this is about. Research and development.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the worst that can happen? It's free. I don't have to pay for it. Let me just see what this is about. So it doesn't have to be difficult. Maybe you want to learn a new recipe for something. Maybe you're a great chef and you want to learn how to bake, bake something small. What's that first thing that you want to? I mean, there's so many things that you could do that expands your horizon, that
Yeah.
expands your reach. Because then you start doing stuff and then you put it on, I was going to say TikTok, but I'm not on TikTok, y'all. Instagram, and you put it on social media, and all of a sudden people are following. Oh, how did you do this? What did you do? Blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden you've opened your whole world up to something else, which is a good thing. Okay. It's a good thing.
It is a good thing. It is a
Yeah.
good thing. Not that everything needs to go on social media either.
Well,
but
no, but I'm saying if you are one of those people, an
Right.
influencer or whatever, or a wannabe influencer, there you
Right.
go. There
Right.
you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like I feel compelled to post these skating videos, right? I actually have a ton of stuff I haven't posted because I'm keeping a skate diary as I practice skills and try to learn stuff. And
Mhm.
one of the reasons I'm like, ooh, this if I first of all, sometimes when I post things to social media, it's a way of me keeping myself honest.
Yeah.
It's like it keeps me like if I'm doing a personal challenge for myself and I post it, then it's like, okay. I also like to show my process to people, not always the shiny end results of things,
Right.
but the process of it.
The messiness.
The messiness, because messy is beautiful. If everybody could just embrace that messiness is part of living. I just wanna tell all my photography clients, especially parents with young children doing family photos,
Mhm.
I just wanna tell them, "We're gonna get awesome photos. Don't stress over how your
Yes.
kids are acting."
Right.
And we all want Pinterest perfect, picture perfect stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went on a little
Perfection's overrated, I'm just gonna say.
way.
I wanna talk a little bit about Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
I do too, and I have a question I wanna ask you, but you go
Sure.
first. Yeah.
So October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and you probably already know that, but, I always feel like everyone should feel good in their body, and that includes not only fitness, but health, and doing those things that you need to keep you healthy. So whether you have a friend who is, I was going to say suffering, but that's not what I want to say, who has breast cancer, maybe go visit them, go see them, maybe do a walk to support breast cancer. What can you do to help the cause? Even something simple, putting it on social media. Have you checked the girls lately? Because that's what breast cancer is about. And here's a tip, not a tip, but a did you know that a lot of the women and men, by the way, who get breast cancer have no history of it in their family.
Really?
Really?
Wow. That's scary, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So take care of you, do what you need to do, because especially as we get older, it's a little more prevalent. But if you're doing all the things, congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm super proud of you. But sometimes we're like,
What are
oh,
doing all the
next
when you
time.
say doing all the things, what do you mean by doing all the things?
Taking care of your house. I
Mhm.
always say, if your body gives out, where are you going to live? And part of, when you live in a house and the roof has a leak, you fix the roof. If there's a leak in the bathroom, you fix the leak. If the faucet in the kitchen is broken, you fix right?
Yeah.
That's what you do for your body, but don't wait for all these things to happen to you. Be in a preventative mode.
So does taking care of yourself help you avoid breast cancer? I mean,
There are
I know that's a
Yeah.
real kindergarten question, but
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's actually, studies have shown that yes, it can, dependent upon your family history. And I don't know what those studies are, but I read those that come across. I'm like, ooh, let me check this out. But there are some studies that say yes, it can. Now, if you're someone who had a mom with breast cancer, aunts, your grandmother, you need to really be on it, and just stay close to it and take care of yourself as much as possible, doing all the things. And
I have a cautionary tale, so to
oh,
speak.
do tell.
Well, okay, so my doctor always wants me to go one step beyond the mammogram to get the breast ultrasound
Yes.
because I have what they call dense breasts.
Yes.
TMI, too much information, but hello, that's a thing. So
Mhm.
if you do have dense breast tissue, you need to go that extra step. Well, I went to go get my mammogram this year and I have new insurance. And I was a little concerned about whether or not the insurance was going to cover the ultrasound because sometimes that can be an issue. And sure enough, when she put it in, I said, I don't, I didn't think about it until the night
Mhm.
before my appointment.
Right.
And then I went online and I started looking at it and it said something about it needing to be pre-approved. And
Ah,
I was like, "Hmm." So I walked in and I said to her, I may need to cancel the ultrasound part of my appointment. She looked it up. She took down my card information. She started looking it up. And sure enough, I was going to be on the hook for a lot of money to have the
Oh
ultrasound done.
my.
So I still have to call my insurance company
Mhm,
and advocate for myself. And
mhm.
maybe I'll do an update on Salty Sisters after this. But this is something to think about. Like, why do we have to go through that extra step to get the care we need that's important, you know?
I had something like that too. I'm with you. And I did the mammogram, and then I got a letter that says, you have density, you need to come in for the ultrasound. So it was like, I won't say it's a referral, but they were like, my insurance covered it. But I think that jumping through hoops like that for women, you want women to go get a mammogram. Because again, if you have dense breasts, a mammogram by itself isn't going to show up anything that could be wrong. Okay. So what I'm saying is the ultrasound, or not the ultrasound, but the mammogram comes up and it's dark. Okay. And you can't see anything. You're like, oh, you're good. And then you do an ultrasound. You're like, oh, wait a minute. So if you're one of those women who has dense breasts, then please
I'm glad we
check
had
with your
this
insurance first.
conversation. You're reminding me that it's on my list. It's on my to-do list to call and do that and get in touch with them. So I'm glad
Yeah,
we had this conversation.
absolutely.
Can I ask you something else, Kat?
Sure.
You recently went and got recertified, I think, as a
Mhm.
coach, as a tell me more about the cancer aspect of
Mhm.
what you're doing as a movement specialist.
Sure. So let me just backtrack a little bit. I kept seeing, it's called the Cancer Exercise Training Institute. And I kept seeing it because cancer is something that does run in our family. It runs in a lot of different families. And I thought, oh man, if I could find a way to help people who are suffering from cancer. And I say suffering because it can't be fun. I'm just going to say it out loud. And I saw that they were doing, what do you call, scholarships. So I applied and she's like, oh, you're in. I was like, yes. So
Awesome.
I went through it. It was a 2-year certification. I came back and I got recertified, which means that I can help anyone who is diagnosed with any kind of cancer. Maybe it's pre um, pre or post op, and then even afterwards. So what happens is I'm going to be part of your team. I'm part of someone's team. So if you came to me and you said, I need help, I would be working with your doctor and or physical therapist. So it's this all encompassing.
Wow, wow. So
Right.
it's like you're part of the team to
Yes.
help take care of somebody who's going through treatment.
Yes. Because the doctor's going to say, okay, this person can't do this, this, this. The PT says, this person is doing stretchings, blah, blah, blah. And then I can come in and do range of motion to see where they are and doing exercises that are, that they can do without, hurting their body at all.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So I'm super
When
proud of that
I
certification,
am
by
super proud of you too, Kat. I'm just saying, like, you are somebody who never stops learning. And
Yeah, I'm a lifelong learner. When I
yeah.
like when I get my teeth into something and I go down that rabbit hole, watch out.
Truth. Truth. I've seen her do it. Oh my goodness. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I'm proud of me too.
You should be. You should be.
And I think that's something else we don't do as we get older is, say, wow, I am freaking awesome.
Yeah.
you know? I mean, give yourself props when, when it's you are freaking fabulous. Yes, you are, Yvonne.
This is Kat. Kat sent me this because Kat is the freaking
Again.
fabulous Kat Corchado. I don't even think we introduced ourselves at the
Oh,
beginning of
we
this
did.
today.
They know who we are. They know us. We don't need to introduce ourselves.
Hilarious. So I'm gonna be the puppy and pony show for a minute and let you guys know that Kat Corchado is a movement specialist and she has a program called Small Space Pilates. And she does believe that everybody has the right to feel freaking fabulous. And that is what
Mhm.
she does. She makes you feel freaking fabulous. She kicks your booty in the best possible way and you
I
laugh.
smile.
She does. She laughs and we laugh and she makes you smile and laugh and it is all goodness, folks. It is all goodness.
Oh,
I'm
thank
just
you,
saying right now.
Yvonne.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So you can find her at Small Space Pilates. Um, when you're talking about celebrating,
Mhm.
I was thinking about, recently having had the 200th episode of the podcast and I didn't know what I wanted to do for the longest time about that particular episode because there's a lot of ways I could have gone to
Mhm.
to do it. I normally interview people on the podcast and every now and again I do a solo episode and blah blah and I was like, should I have a party? Should I do a live? What? And I got introspective, I guess you could say. And I ended up talking to my husband about it and he was like, "You need to talk about 200 episodes as 200 steps, 200 steps in a process, And I was like, "You're right." And he was like, "You need to talk about celebrating something because we don't celebrate." So he totally like saved me on like where I was going to go with the framework of what I was going to talk about in that episode. And that's why it's pulling me back to this idea of celebrating ourselves, celebrating our accomplishments because we all have them. And I think too little do we stop to celebrate because it might seem braggadocious or it might seem we might seem full of ourselves, but you know what? We need that in order to keep going sometimes, in order to then step into doing the next new thing when we don't have all the answers. Looking back at what you've already done and already accomplished can give you the little bit of confidence boost to step into what's next because we're always going to want to grow. We're always going to want something, a new challenge. I think if you're not, I'm just going to say this. This might be fighting words, but I think if you're not challenging yourself, are you even alive? Are you really living if you're not challenging yourself? And I'm not talking about improving yourself or making yourself a better version of yourself. I'm just talking about like that curiosity, that following the next thread to whatever is next for you. Yeah, I went on a little thing there. Uh-oh, I can't hear you, Kat.
I'm
Oh, there
sorry.
we
That
go.
that was all me. Click the mute button, Kat, so everyone can hear you. I think women have a tendency to be more like that than men. Men will come up like, I fixed the dishwasher. Dun, dun, dun. And I think as women, we're like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And they keep going forward. Have you ever looked back in your timeline, however far back you want to go, might be high school, and looked at all the things that happened along the way up till now? And I'm sure there are some things in there that were difficult situations that you didn't think you were going to get through. That you said, I am not sure I'm going to make through this. But yet you're here. That's strength. That's tenacity. That's a woman.
Ooh, there's a song in there somewhere, Kat. There's a song.
But I
I'm
just really
woman, hear me
believe,
roar.
yeah.
Da, 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 da. I
And
don't
we
know.
don't do that, and you get to midlife, you've you did the job, you raised the kids, you bought the house, you did all the things. Isn't that worth a celebration? And people say, well, what if people look at me? What if they do?
What if they do?
What if they do? Say, hey, how are you? And keep it moving. Now's the time to blossom. Now's the time to, we've been here, we've been a bud. You know how you plant something, it's been a bud for so long, and all of a sudden we go, whoo. And I think menopause and being in midlife is that time to sprout.
Yes.
No, flowers don't sprout, they grow. What do? They
blossom. They blossom. But you're making me think of like, okay, so we have been buds, but like there's times when you blossom, and then it's making me think of the azalea bush in our backyard.
Yeah.
Every spring it puts on this amazing show, and then the flowers go away, and then it's a bush for the summer, and then in the winter it's all like
And
you
in
know,
spring it's like,
and then in the
here I
spring it's
am.
like, hey, it's the flower show again,
Yes.
and so I feel like there's always those seasons of us coming into our own. So if you're in a winter season, don't kick yourself. I guess that's my
Right.
point. Don't kick
Yeah.
yourself for being in the non-blossoming season, but know that somewhere in there you're prepping and your energy is coming up, and everything's getting ready to blossom. And I'm
Yes.
just going to say, if you allow yourself more time to play is self-care. Play is serious business. It helps you focus. It helps with stress. It helps with all the things. And if you can adopt I know you guys don't believe me, by the way. I'm just going to say this. I know you don't believe me, and I'm throwing down a challenge right now to say that play is actually important. We're hardwired for it as kids. It is how we learn as children, and it's not like that just goes away. It's that we stuff it down. And
Yeah.
because life becomes challenging and we have to survive and raise families or get our careers going or different things like that, we step away from the playfulness because we got to get stuff done. But you're coming into this season of life where you can embrace play again as a way to expand and grow.
Yes.
And so I just want to invite everybody. I'm having another play shop. It's the third one. I'm mixing some stuff up this time. I'm coming up with some new
goodness. Oh no.
I want to actually play during the play shop even more than we
nice.
have in the past, Kat.
Yeah.
So you guys are all invited. It's October 19th at 10 o'clock Eastern time. We'll go for 2 hours, and come and play. It's at latebloomerliving.com/play. And I'll put that in the description of whatever replay ends up, wherever it ends up. But I want to convince you that it's actually essential, I think, for us to play more and have a playful attitude, even towards our work, towards the things we have to do.
Yes.
I think we can shift everything to feel better.
And I think once you do it a time or two, then you start to do it. You're like, this feels good. Maybe you can incorporate it, weekly, bi-weekly, weekly, every other day, daily.
Daily.
That's the ultimate.
Honestly, because it doesn't take much. It doesn't have to cost anything. It doesn't have to be a lot of time. It can be little breaks in your day, in between things, or when you feel like stress is coming up. If you think about it ahead of time and have a plan, a playlist of things that make you feel good, that are easy to do and quick, like have a dance break in the middle of the day.
In your chair.
Or
stand up and no one's watching.
Right?
So get your groove on.
I'm going to do the Elaine. That's me dancing. dancing. That's
And
me dancing when nobody's watching.
I Oh my gosh. Look at the time, Yvonne.
Look at the time.
So when's our next show?
Oh, when is our next show? I should have had that ready. Our next show is, drumroll please, October. Ooh, I don't have it on.
We'll be back when we'll be back.
Hang on. I'm gonna straighten this out. We're gonna get this right before we go, because I
Okay.
want you guys to come. Oh, I can't get to my calendar right now. My whole screen just froze.
Oh, messy, y'all. Messy's beautiful. You know,
Messy is beautiful. Oh
it
my
just
goodness.
happens. We're going to roll with it. We will let you know when we're coming back. It should be in about 2 weeks. We're hoping to get some speakers and people from the conference we were at, the festival, Life in the Pause Festival, so we could talk about that a little bit more. So
Yeah.
I hope you guys can join us. Yvonne, you were fantabulous as always.
My salty sister, you are always freaking fabulous.
Oh, well, thank you, Yvonne.
I mean that. I'm just saying it.
All right, guys. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.